that from earlier times humans have developed on different materials for getting and cooking food. Earlier days people were using wood for cooking. Now today people have developed to other means like charcoal. That is the development people have got. Soon people will be transferring to gas, because now the gas is also being produced from our petrol they are producing. So we expect people to be using gas very soon. So for clothes and shelter, people shifted from
think I
graphite
have
houses to what?
problem with your network.
To what? From graphite houses to what? Usual. People have changed the material from grass to iron sheets, isn't it? Yes. So those are some of the changes that occur in our daily life. The way we use this material differs from actually the use of this material depends on the usage. If you want to use something that is elastic, you can't use it for maybe other uses, like you want to use it somewhere where you need something that's not elastic. So around your home you have very many materials. That are around you. You give me the type of material, actually the material they use for making that substance, and then from there we shall continue one at a time. They are saying in this chapter you will learn more about some of the common substances you find around your home and school. You will study their physical and chemical properties. You will know physical properties. From physical properties, no new substance is formed. Chemical, a new substance is formed. So as you look at those elements at home, which ones are those that are physical, which are those that are chemical. Uh, so here you will learn how these materials, how these properties make them suitable for what we use them for. So each person, before I continue there, give me a material. Now you're giving me, and then you're giving me a sewing needle. Which material do you use for making it? Yes? Anana,
But
a sewing
yes,
needle.
teacher.
A sewing needle, which material do you use for making it? Yes?
Mm,
Eh.
a material that they use for sewing, that
For,
uses sewing needle.
no, the material they use
Is
for
it
making that needle. Yes?
a metal?
A metal. Thank you very
A
much.
metal.
So that metal in particular, it is iron. Okay? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Now
Yes.
here, let's start from here. Classifying materials. Do you see something here? 4.1. Classifying materials. Classifying materials used in everyday life. Look at the materials in the picture and try to classify them by their properties. Remember that. Remember that. Remember that. When you classify materials, you put them in two groups. Each group has a common property. Here, here are some holding headings under which some of the materials could be grouped. They are either one, hard, soft, flexible, easily bent, uh, shatter easily. These ones that shatter easily, they can be closed easily. Then another group is solids, liquids, and gases. We looked at these are states of matter. We looked at three of them earlier on. Solids are closely packed, liquids are loosely packed, while gases they are just free, they are in random motion. Then we can also classify materials as metals and non-metals. We can either say they are elements or compounds. Do you know the elements? Yes? Joshua, what is an element? Brian, can someone give me the difference between an element and a compound? Yes? Yes, Brian. Which are you answering? A compound or an element?
Yeah, please, I don't know what's happening.
Yes? You don't know what an element is? Yes? Joshua? Yes? Eh? Joshua? Okay. An element is here. If you don't know the meaning, you can write out what an element means. They are saying each of more than one substance that cannot be chemically interconverted or broken down into simpler substances. So somebody who doesn't know, like what? Do you know copper? Yes? You know copper? Yes? Eh? Anena? Anena? Brian, do you know an element called copper? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. If you know copper, it is an element. You cannot get copper and cut into small pieces and change its state. Maybe it goes to another substance. You get it? So that is what we call an element. Now, if you get copper and combine it with some other element, you are forming what we call what? A compound. If they are combined chemically, that is what? A compound. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. Hope you have written those definitions down. Have you written them? You get your summary paper and write what an element is and write what a compound is. That is the way you define those things. So here they have told us, So here you must be positioned now to define elements, classify materials as elements or compounds. Those are two. An element is one. Compound is a mixture of elements combined together. Now here we have either it is glass, wood, metal, like Anana told us that a needle is made out of metals, and that metal is particularly iron. If you say iron, that is an element. If you add iron to other things like carbon, it becomes a compound. So here we say plastics. Plastics, let me hope we know plastics and many others. Now, if you look at these elements in this picture, these are elements in the picture. Some common materials you see around is what? Brian, what is the material you're seeing on the ground? Yes? Anena? 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 Yes?
Yes, teacher.
Anena, talk to me. Which type of material do you see in this picture?
Yes, I'm getting you.
Which material do you see in the pictures here? According to our classification up here, it can either be glass, wood, metal, plastic. Which one do you see here? The table is made up of what? Yes? Don't be quiet. Let's talk. The table? Look at what I'm pointing at. The table is made up of what? Yes? Huh? Anana, this blue chair is made up of what, Brian?
Yes, teacher.
This blue chair is made up of what? Yes? Yes?
From
What
a
has
wood.
happened today? Where? Anana. Yes,
Yes,
Anana. Hey, talk to me.
it's made
Uh,
it's made from a wood
uh-huh.
and soft
Uh-huh.
materials.
Soft materials. Now,
Yeah,
what about this blue one?
the blue one
Yes.
is also made from wood and the soft materials.
This blue material, is it a wood or something else? Do you see those images properly?
Yes,
Do you see this image properly?
yes,
Now, this blue color here, you see it? Huh?
mm,
It is made up of which
yes.
material? Because below this, the legs or the stands, I see them with the wood. What about this one up? Yes?
It's
It is what?
it's a synthetic materials.
It is what? What?
Synthetic is
Repeating.
a synthetic material. Yeah,
So here, on top here, we have plastic. You get it? This is
yeah,
plastic, okay? Then down we have wood.
yeah.
So now we are
Mm.
classifying materials according to wood and the plastics. On top we have a plastic, down we have wood. What about here on this table? What is there? On top of the table,
On
what do
the
you see?
table,
Yes. Yes, you see something like a cup
there
or what?
is
Uh-huh. Which material this was made of?
it's a glass.
Glass. Then this one?
We have a glass
Uh-huh.
material.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Those are some of the common materials at home. On top we see glass, and then this plate is made of a metallic element. Then this is a plastic chair. All the way down we have some wood around. This is a wooden chair, a wooden table. Uh, Most of them are wood and metal. So here you are going to, this one was supposed to be your activity. You compare your classification with that of the classmate next to you. But since you are far and you are few, I would have put you in groups so that you do the work. But now you are only two, which makes it hard for you to do the other bit. So here we shall look at what is down here. uh, Here the structure of the materials that shatters easily. What does the word shatter mean? Structure of materials that shatter easily. Yes. Huh? Material that shatter easily. So here is the meaning of the word. Shatter meaning means to break suddenly into small pieces. Okay? Brian. Brian? Yes. Your hand is up. So the meaning of shatter easily is this. Anana. It shatters what?
Yes.
The meaning of shattering easily is it breaks suddenly into small what?
In smaller pieces.
Okay. Thank you. Now, let's look at this. Back to our material. The first material we're looking at is what? Here. The material is called what? Yes? Someone to read for me this word.
A cross stretch.
Echo? I did not hear well. This what? This word here. The word is read as concrete. Okay? Concrete. Do you know concrete? Where is Brian? Brian? Brian?
Yes.
What is concrete? What is concrete? Yes?
I don't know.
Eh? What is concrete? Eh?
I don't know.
Now, concrete is a mixture of sand and what? Concrete is made up of sand and the stones. Stones is what we call gravel. Okay? And then cement. All these three mixed together gives us the word what? Concrete. Eh? Brian, are you there?
Yes.
So concrete, if you get that piece of cement with a stone and what, and cement, stone and sand mixed together, you hit it to the ground, it easily cracks out, isn't it? It easily turns into pieces, isn't it? Yes?
Yes.
Eh?
Yes.
But it is turning into pieces varies with the strength of the cement. If cement is more strong, then cracking it becomes hard. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes. So here, concrete is one of the most useful materials that we can make. Now, if you see this building here, all building materials is made up of these concretes. Okay.
Yes.
So here, if you look at a piece of concrete, if you look at a piece of concrete carefully with a magnifying glass or a microscope, you can see that it's made up of a lot of tiny thin crystals which overlap each other. Now, those tiny materials are made up of sand, is there, the stones, gravel, and cement. Cement, you can get it from many factories.
Listen.
Example is Tororo, Hima, which other one? Which other one? Huh? You want to know? Because next is a question is going to come. Compare the strength of concrete and glass. You must be sure to tell me the difference between the two, isn't it? Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Eh? Okay. Let's continue with our definition. I will need you to use your own words to define for me the difference between concrete and glass material. Concrete material and then glass material. Okay? So pay attention to these things a lot. Otherwise, if you're in a noisy place, uh, it is going to be hard. Now, if this session gets over, we have more 40 minutes to come back. So we shall rest for about 1 minute. When you see the thing go off, and then you rejoin back. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. So now here we are saying these crystals come from where? Cement, which is a mixture of two substances. This is what is made up of cement. You don't need to know this, but at least you need to know that cement is made up of this. Those are the tiny materials there. Calcium silicate and aluminium what? Silicate. In your definition, I will not need to know what these things are, but you tell me that cement is a part of that. Is it clear? Yes? These two substances, are made by heating together limestone, which with clay at a temperature of about this in a glass or in a furnace. You know, a furnace is like this big. It is built in a structure of this modern series here, but for it is very huge. It is big. In fact, it's the size of what? One of the tallest buildings in Kampala down here. You see this? Even a furnace is built that way. Actually, it covers the height of a man, I don't know, 4 or 5 times even. The furnace. So inside the furnace, the heat quantity that is there is more than enough to melt any metal you put there. So that is a furnace. So these two substances are made by heating together limestone with clay at a temperature of about this in a glass-fired furnace. Now, this is the procedure they use for making concrete. But what I need you to know is, if concrete is there, what is inside concrete? You must know that concrete is made up of only sand, the stones, gravels, and the cement. Then you must be in position to identify that in the concrete, if you hit concrete down, at least it does not turn into what? It does not turn into tiny. It does not break suddenly too many particles as easily as that, as you compare it with glass. Okay. So here that is the description they are trying to give you here. So these crystals, when added, the cement, the crystals in cement start forming when water is added to it. They are stronger if the concrete is allowed to dry out slowly. If you force the cement to dry out quickly, then it won't set properly. Okay, so this is why idea of wet concrete with water is why they pour water on what? On cement after they have put it there, to allow it dry out slowly. You don't allow it to dry out forcefully with the heat that is used. Okay, so we have our 1 minute left. We shall come back and start from glass. Maybe if there are questions, first we shall first go to questions on concrete. You prepare them as many as possible. We shall answer. Then we cross over to glass. Are we there? Anana, unmute. Unmute.